So I just wanted to do a quick video about making my rose quartz Art Nouveau costume. When I did this costume initially, I never thought I would be doing any sort of making of video. So there's no like footage of me actually making this costume. So I just want to talk about real quick the process and kind of how it happened that I did this. So 2 years ago now, almost 3 maybe, we did a Halloween costume, group Halloween costume at Early College of Nevada. And I had wanted school mascots. That was my thing. I was ready to do the Stanford tree and I was super stoked. And then all of my lovely coworkers voted on superheroes. And I'm not superhero shaped by any stretch of the imagination. So I got to thinking, who could I do that's a superhero and is a little more true to who I am and my body type and things like that. So my lovely husband suggested that I should do rose quartz. So I put together this costume. I did the wig. I got some fabric together that felt appropriate to the character, and the first iteration of rose quartz was born. And I was really proud of it. It worked really well. It looked really good, but it wasn't great. It was good, but it wasn't great. Comic-Con the next summer rolls around and Keith and I talk and I'm like, maybe I should, put this together a little more formally. Maybe I should make it a little better. And I love, Ginny D did a Art Nouveau centaur. That was beautiful. She's also done a Snow White like that. That's beautiful. And I thought how cool would it be to do an Art Nouveau rose quartz. So I looked at some photos and some source material and a lot of Alphonse Mucha work and took that costume I had already started and gave it a new life as this more Art Nouveau version of her. And the second iteration of rose quartz was born. Fast forward again another year, and I really loved doing that Art Nouveau rose quartz at Comic-Con. It was a lot of fun. And I thought, well, what if I do another one? Who else could I do? And that's where Tinkerbell was born, but we'll get to Tinkerbell next week. I think it's next week, yeah, for Tinkerbell. But I was like, well, I already have rose quartz, and I really loved that costume, and I wanted to get photos of it. So I wound up making a third iteration of rose quartz to be photographed. And, all this time I would go to Joann's and I would, look through all the scrap fabric and find things that I thought were good. I'd go on Etsy and look up things where I found the gems. I just, as I was building this costume, kept always in the back of my mind, like, what would work for her? What else could I add? And this third iteration of her was born for this photo shoot we did at a park here in Arvada. And I'm really happy with how she came out and how everything came together. And this is sort of the final version of her. And I also played with some things with corsets and other things I had in the house when I was brainstorming this third iteration of her to figure out what that looked like. So there's been several iterations of her, and I think we finally found the one that I think is the truest to the Art Nouveau style and truest to what I like and aesthetically what I think is pretty and interesting. So that is the version that will make its way to the music video we're doing this weekend. Some other fun things about her, that wig is actually 2 big pink wigs that I curled and cut apart and fused and glued and sewed together to create this thing. It's a mess. Getting it out every time requires me to brush it and recurl it sometimes. I use the boiling technique, or put it in rollers and I dunk it, and that's how I curl it, or how I curled it the first time. And if I have to recurl anything, I do that again. The other pieces of it, this is the cool thing. So the shield and the sword I made out of foam and paper mache, at least on the sword, and then hand painted it all. I'm really proud of the shield and how it came out, including the Art Nouveau details on the edges for the roses, as well as on the hilt of the sword. There's some really beautiful Art Nouveau roses that I hand painted Also, there's a cool piece on the costume itself. There's, in a lot of Art Nouveau work, there's these long lines. There's like a piece of fabric that always goes kind of straight down in a lot of them. And to capture that in Rose, that's where I included the gem. And I loved this ombre idea. So the skirt I hand dyed in ombre. It's a little harder to tell that it's ombre, but it is. And then there's also this like tabard piece that I hand dyed in an ombre as well. And I'm really happy with how that came out, and the wire and this beautiful kind of circle that goes around it. That's a hearken to another Muka piece. So that's just some of the cool details about Rose Quartz and my Art Nouveau version of her, and I hope you enjoy the video we do of her coming soon. Thanks!